Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Joni Ogg, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend. And we know these have been some tough times of late, a little turbulent and certainly unprecedented times, both on a professional and a personal level. So it's really important that we thank you for being here. And we're just so glad that you're going to spend this next hour with us. And hope you got your seatbelts on because you've got a crackerjack speaker, as some of you know, going to come in here and give us a presentation. Our host today is Travel Planners International, and our speaker is my friend and the lovely and vivacious Jen Lee. She's been celebrating just 4 short years in the travel industry, and she is a dynamo. She's Travel Planners International's Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and she's not shy about her obsession for guiding and leading today's entrepreneurial-minded travel advisor community. And according to Jen, the travel industry is on the upswing, and this is the moment to remind the world that travel advisors aren't just booking travel, but are true curators of the future. I think that stands more now than ever. And she believes that those that find success are the ones that are going beyond and boosting their bank account. They're building their business. And what keeps Lee going is meeting and passionate, hustling, and driven entrepreneurs in the making who just plain get it. And that and her bulletproof coffee, she says. Today's topic is going to be super fun. This is creating a Facebook community that converts. So remember that you're all muted, but we do welcome your questions, and you can type in your questions at any time in the question area that you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. And when the presentation is over, we'll take as many questions as we can. We didn't have this in the early notification, but additionally, we're going to have 2 lucky attendees. We're going to win a 30-minute consultation with Jen. We're going to ask 2 questions at the end of the presentation, and we'll pick the 5th person's answer. That's correct. So for now, I'm just going to turn the microphone over to our friend Jen. Welcome, Jen.
Well, thank you, Joni, and hey, rock stars out there. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm so excited to be part of this industry during this unprecedented time. I know that sounds crazy coming from somebody as we're smack in the middle of COVID, but anyone who knows me or follows me understands that my passion has always been to help you guys build really solid businesses so that when we do go through times like this, you've already built a solid business to which you can kind of grow from. And I'm a firm believer that those that make it through this time are going to be superbly successful over the next 5, 6, 7 months. And so I'm super excited to be here. And in all honesty, I was telling Joni before we get started, and I've got, can they see my screen, Joni?
They're looking at you, so I think they can.
Okay.
We can ask anybody who can't see the screen. They can see it. I just heard from somebody.
Okay, good. Well, that is not what my roots look like right now. I'm just going to be, in all honesty, I've not been to the hairdresser in 3 months. I still look adorable, but the fake eyelashes are gone. I'm down to naturals, and I have roots, and my hair is super long. But my spirit is the same. So welcome, rock stars. And for many of you who have participated in these wonderful webinars with travel professional, with the travel, oh my God, I totally lost the name of the company, Travel Professional News, know that I like a lot of interaction. I chose this topic because I felt like, wow, right now is the perfect time for you to take on something new. Once you get through your cancellations and your FCCs and your FTVs and the refunds that probably aren't going to happen right now, and you've kind of settled in, I know many of you are looking at how can I make a new plan within my business? How can I attract new travelers, not just my current travelers? And so creating a Facebook community is a great way for you to do that. And I'm inspired by several of our TPI advisors who have done that. And I'm going to mention one of them by name throughout this presentation. Her name is Marsha Kirby, and Marsha is out of Montana. And 5 years ago, Marsha launched a Facebook community before it was cool, and she has kicked butt. And the majority, if not all of her sales have come from this community. And so there's a difference between making a Facebook community versus a business page. And right now, your community is the way to go. Think about it this way, you guys. The reason why I want you to spend time on this right now is Imagine, if you will, the majority of Americans are staying at home, right? A good portion are isolating themselves or certainly not venturing out very often. They're doing their doctor's appointments online. They're visiting their grandkids online. They're doing everything. They're dreaming online. They're learning how to repaint their cabinets in the kitchen online. Like, online is where people are. And they're on Facebook quite a bit. But many people are tired of what they're seeing on Facebook. And so we want to give them something good. And we know in the travel industry that something good means dreaming about their next vacation, an opportunity to get it curated in a way that allows them to really enjoy those 7 days off. So dreaming and searching online about travel is something that every consumer is doing right now. Right now, they're doing it. Do not let anybody tell you that people are not interested in travel. I'm going to start with that right now. People are extremely interested in travel. They are just freaking out because they don't know how to travel right now. Because those that did not work with you as a wonderful travel advisor and relied on an OTA have no clue what to do next. So this is your time. This is why creating a Facebook community is so important right now. So that's number one. That's the premise. Here's what we're going to cover. And Joni, if you want to jump in at any time, you're welcome to do so. But here's what we're going to cover today. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to create, promote, manage, interact, and convert using a Facebook community, not a business page, but a community. And so you might be asking yourself, what is the difference between a business page and a community? And a business page, this is a simple way to look at it. When you create your Facebook business page, it's all about you, right? It's, even though you're talking to your clients and to your prospects and to your audience on the business page, it's really about you. If you think about it, the description is about you and your business. Things that you post are things that you're doing in your business. It's really created by you, for you to communicate with an audience. Versus a community, which Facebook still calls a group. So I'm going to replace the word community with group for right now. Versus launching a group, a Facebook group, is all about them. A Facebook community is created to serve them, for them, the people within the group, to communicate amongst each other. You become the backseat driver, kind of the guide along the way, but it's not about you. Now, because you are the main admin and because you are the one that does a lot of posting, you lead the conversation. But like a really good salesperson, they kind of start a conversation, ask an inquisitive question, and then sit back and listen to the answers. So a Facebook community, or creating a private group within Facebook, utilizing Facebook, will create that community that we all so desire, just as human beings. I mean, if you think about it, what is it, why communities work? Communities work because naturally, as human beings, we want to be part of something else that's bigger than ourselves. We want to feel like we are contributing to a group who actually value what we value, or at least have one concept, one portion of our values. And that's the reason why we congregate. That's the reason there's mommies groups out there. There's widows groups out there that are, meeting face to face. Why people who, are of certain political affiliation get along better than the people who are of an opposite political affiliation. We do it all the time. So communities work in general, because we like to be around like-minded people. Communities and/or Facebook groups work really well because you have a targeted audience. They have self-selected themselves. They have said, yes, I am interested in talking with other people who love cats, who also love to cruise. Those are my people. I want to be with them. So a Facebook group or a community works because it's a targeted audience. It gives people permission to talk about what they want to talk about because those other people in the group are interested in the same topic. And you win as a travel agency owner or travel advisor. You win because the people within that group have an appreciation for people who connect you. Right, Joni? Have you ever, you've probably experienced this. You tend to like people who've connected you with
totally.
other people, and you have you have an appreciation, like, oh my God, that Jen Lee is so giving. She connected me with Stacy over here. And so, right, so you'll always remember that. So if Jen Lee needs something, I can just call Joni, right, Joni? You'll get it to me, right?
Anytime. You can call me anytime.
Anytime. So that's the reason why communities work. versus a Facebook business page. Now, a Facebook business page is still something good to have. I'm going to tell you, this is the future, communities and groups. And even Zuckerberg talked about how this is the actual future that he feels most confident about, is how Facebook can help create stronger communities within their private Facebook groups. You got anything to share with that, Miss Joni?
I do. So I know this sounds really crazy, but so I have a Saint Bernard, so I'm kind of a nut for big dogs and Saint Bernards. So I
Mm-hmm.
found like 3 Saint Bernard Facebook groups, and I'm on there all the time. It's ridiculous. Tom thinks I have a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
And then I have now bought one of those Peloton bikes, because I couldn't go to the gym. So I bought one of those crazy bikes, and I'm on it all the time. And there's a million groups. And I'm telling you, I've made friends in there, and I found so many travel professionals in there that are also in there. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's just crazy, right? I mean, they work. You're absolutely right.
Um,
They work.
and they're more exciting than just your normal news feed, because now
Exactly.
you've really kind of like, it's kind of like you went to the library, and in the past you would go to the library and you went down the one section which was like the nonfiction, and now you've narrowed it down to something very specific within that aisle at the library. And now you've picked up 4 books, right? So now you have 4 books that you know has got everything in it that you want to talk about. So that's the reason why communities work. I'm going to stop using the word community. I said I was going to stop using it, but I love it so much. But I'm talking about private Facebook groups. In the Facebook world, this is called a Facebook group. And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys some resources so you'll know exactly where you can go to get the details that you need. But the very first thing we need to do is we need to create, right? So we need to be able to create that Facebook group. And prior to creating the group, there's a little bit of homework that you need to do ahead of time. First thing you need to do is you need to define the mission of your group. What is it that you want this group to be and to represent? So I'm going to give you some examples of some Facebook group names that I think would probably hit it out of the ballpark, and you can probably plagiarize a couple of them and kind of mix them up, you'll see. But the mission would be the same. The mission should be something along the lines of, I'd like this group to feel like they're connected with other wine lovers, or I want this to be a group that's just my clients. Marsha Kirby, who I was referring to, she started her group 5 years ago, and it started out with just her friends, but it was a place for her to be able to give travel tips to those who like to book travel with Marsha. And she's grown it since then immensely. And most of them are people who've booked travel with her. Some of them haven't booked travel yet with her, but she says that she's not going to delete them just yet, because she knows sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years before somebody decides to make a decision to go on a trip and have her book that travel. But her mission was, and actually her very first announcement that she made was, her mission was to provide travel tips and information for people who love to travel. That was it. She talked about passports. She talked about traveling back in the day safely, traveling with your family, things to think about, and oh yeah, why you should be traveling. And so that was her mission. So write that down. What is my mission? The second thing that you have to determine before you open up a group would be create the tone. Now, everybody's got a different personality, and your brand and you should come pretty close to being the same if you are the owner of your agency. And even if you hire people or you have associate agents that work with you, that tone needs to be the same across the board. And so tone means things like, am I serious? Am I funny? Am I quirky? Am I fact-based? Are my colors bright or are they muted? That's the brand, the visual brand of yours. Many of you have probably already gone through this exercise to define your company's tone and your company's brand. Utilize the same thing, but let's make sure that it's in line with your mission and also in line with who you want to attract. So if you want to attract, I'm just going to make it up, people who love pogo sticks, people who love to use pogo sticks for aerobic exercise, and your color tones are like black, that's not going to work with a high energy pogo sticking loving person. So your tones and your brand and all that need to match the mission of that actual group. And so think about it. And you'll see that every favorite brand that you have, they never break their brand by having different visuals or tones to what their mission is. For me, I'm very high energy, and TPI is as well. TPI is very high energy. We're serious yet fun. So you'll see bright yellows and the seriousness of black, like you're seeing on my screen right now. And that kind of Instagram looking photo in the background, it's very TPI-ish of us. That's very how TPI is. And so everything we do is very similar to that. Think about that. So define your mission, create your tone, and then you got to start looking at creating your brand visually. One of the that I love to use is Canva Pro, Canva Pro, and I'm going to give you the website for that in just a second. But be thinking about those three things. Is there anything that you want to talk about in this portion here, Joni, from
Yeah,
the
I want to just
define mission?
Yeah, let me just mention though that Canva is also our favorite as well. Tom and Andy use it
Oh,
all the time and love that thing. In fact, Tom just recently did a video that I did with him on the various ways to build things like that, to build the pages, to build the designs and the graphics and things. And I'll try to find that
yeah.
link and we'll make sure everybody gets that as well.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah, it's awesome. So once you've done that, then the next thing, then I want to give you some resources, guys. Now, I'm not going to sit here and walk you, click the plus button in the top right of the and select. I'm not going to walk you through that. What I am going to do, though, is give you exactly where you can go. I created a group in 5 minutes. That's all it takes, 5 minutes. So if you go to the Facebook Help Center, it'll walk you step by step on how to create the Facebook group. It is not hard, I promise you. Just go up to the Help Center in Facebook and type in, how do I create a Facebook group? And I'm showing it to you right here. It will walk you step by step through that process. The next thing is, and probably the next most important thing is, and I'm going to talk about rules of engagement and guidelines here in just a little bit, but the next thing, the most important thing you need to do next is to name your group. The naming of your group is really important for a couple of reasons. One, the more specific you can get within reason, which meets your mission, the easier it is for people to find you within Facebook land, because people in Facebook are looking for groups. Just you said, right, Joni? You were looking. What did you do?
Exactly.
You just started typing in Saint Bernard
Exactly what
lovers.
I
What did you
did.
do?
Yeah. I typed in St. Bernard and I, 3 or 4 popped up. I'll be honest, there were a few, but one had a huge number of members and obviously a lot going on. So, I joined that one
Mhm.
and that's how it was easy. It's just easy to find. But I think you're right. You have to have the right words have to be in your name so that they can find you
Mhm.
because, it's got to be
Yep.
somewhat simplistic.
Yep. And I'm going to walk you through and give you some examples, guys. Not to worry. Whenever you're on a Genly webinar, it's not just a bunch of talk, it's a bunch of resources as well. So here's what you want to go through. You want to ask yourself who, what, where, and why. Now, I'm going to walk you through this. Now, this is not who do you, this is not about you, this is about them. So it's who do you want to be on this page? Who are these human beings, right? Who do you want to be on this group? What are they interested in talking about? Where do they live, if that's applicable? Or where do they have an interest in knowing more about? And why are they on there? Why would they go? Are they looking for support? Are they looking for tips? Are they looking for like-minded people? Are they looking for discounts? Why are they going to be part of this group? So Joni, I'm going to throw it back to you again for a second. Before I name off, I'm going to give you guys like 7 different names to use from. But why did you choose the one, like why were you looking for a St. Bernard Facebook group? Why were you looking for one?
Because I have an obsession with them and I like looking at the pictures of the dogs. But other
There
than
you go.
that,
So you just answered, yeah, you
but
like looking pictures at the different dogs. I'm part of hashtag cats of Instagram. I'm
okay.
a kitty cat lover, right? So hashtag cats of Instagram. I was looking for cats on Instagram. And so that's all I did was I typed that in and I found my favorite thing. And why? Because it brings us joy, right?
Yeah.
Because we like seeing the pictures.
And I have
Other
to
people's
say,
whys might, mm-hmm,
yeah, I think the part of it that attracted me to that particular one, and I joined a couple others, but they're not very active. So obviously, I'm not really in them that
mm-hmm,
often. But the one that was very active,
right.
people were asking really good questions, and others were helping us. So like your dog got a bump in its head, and what do you do? And this, what kind of food do you feed the big Saint
There you
Bernards, and
go.
that kind of thing. All that helpful information. That's why I've become so loyal to this particular one group versus the others.
Exactly. So let's go back through the who, what, where, and why. So who did they design this? Who did they design this group for? Saint Bernard lovers. Is it that Saint Bernard lovers are looking for on this? You're looking for cute little pictures. You're also looking for feedback and tips, and other people. What do they do with their Saint Bernard? So on and so forth. Where are they located? If your community was really small, or if somebody had created one, somebody could be creating one that's called, what county do you live in right now,
We're
Joni?
in
And what's
San
your address and your home phone number? No, I'm just joking.
we're in San Diego, but again, go back what you were saying. Yeah, there is actually a I wanted to, what I was one of the three reasons I was trying to join a group was I wanted to find out if there were any meetup groups of people that met with the different St. Bernards in an area in San Diego, because there used to be such a
There you
thing.
go.
So that was one of the purposes for my trying to join a group and find out, this is a nationwide, actually this one is international. So there's dogs in
Mm-hmm.
Finland and God knows where. So it's really, really huge.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a piece of it, was trying to find,
Right.
I needed to find some resources. So that was why I
Mm-hmm.
chose that particular one.
There you go. So if somebody had opened up one that said San Diego Saint Bernard superstars, you might belong to that one,
I
because
do.
those are people that are in your okay. So there you go. So these
I
people
do.
need to do a better job. And then why? So let me give you guys some examples that fit within the travel industry. And we've used the who, what, where, and why in all of these titles. So let's look at this one. Cruisers who love cats. All right. So these are people who like to cruise, who also love cats. Those are very special people. I am a cruiser who loves cats. So I'm going to probably be looking for cruising tips for people who care about their cats that are sitting at, not that we're going to bring cats on the cruise ship. Okay. One of our top agents, Sherry Cavlin, does a cat cruise every year. And I'm like, are they bringing the cats on the ship? She's like, no, it's just people who love cats who also want to cruise together because they have that in common. So she actually has a whole group that she puts together every single year, cat cruises. So cruisers who love cats. Winter Springs Cruise Addicts. That's the name of my town, Winter Springs Cruise Addicts. So if I were somebody looking, I want to hook up with other people who like to cruise in our area, I would type in Winter Springs Cruise and boom, that group would come up. Wine lovers who love river cruising. Again, this is people who love river cruising who also are wine lovers. If your niche or something that you're passionate about is helping people, travel to the different areas, whether it's river cruising or not, but travel to the different areas and enjoying wine as part of their travel, this would be a great Facebook group to create. Widows looking for travel friends. All right, who, what, where, and why? Think about it. These are widows, who they are. Why is because they're looking to travel with other friends. So that solo travelers, you have a whole opportunity to create a Facebook group just about that. They have special, not needs, because special needs isn't really what it is, but they have things that they have experienced that somebody who is not a widow has not experienced. Conversely, widowers looking for travel friends. Solo travel trip tips for boomers. So here's that, this is all about solo travel tips for people in a particular age group. It could be solo travel tips for millennials, solo travel tips for teenagers, quilters who love to travel, or quilters who travel. So I'm just giving you guys some ideas. I'd love if anybody who's listening, if you can type into the chat or the questions or wherever they're supposed to type, Joni, give me a name of a Facebook group that you just thought of right now because of what we just walked through.
Okay, folks, you
I
can
would love to hear.
post that in the question area, or you could actually post it in the chat and I'll say it so we don't have to repost it. So I'm watching.
Yep. The point is that when you create a group, the name is so important for them to find it, but it's also so important for people to connect with it. So if let's just say Winter Springs Cruise Addicts, I would join that because I know these are people who live in Winter Springs, most likely, that love to cruise, because it's cruise addicts, not cruisers. These are addicts. These are people who totally dig it. So I know we're going to have something in common. So I'm going to probably feel comfortable being part of that group because I can ask questions about cruising. Even though I've got a beautiful travel advisor who has started this group, other people might not. Other people want to be able to connect with each other within the group.
Okay, I got some
Joni,
for
tell
you.
me if
I'm
you've
ready.
gotten it.
I'm ready.
Go, girl, go.
Pampered luxury travelers,
Okay.
circuit crafters, or I'm not sure if I'm reading that right. It might be misspelled. Something crafters that love to cruise.
Okay.
Cruisers who love birds. We're not
Ooh,
done.
good.
Uh,
Yeah.
exploring Scottish castles. Cool.
Ooh,
Let's see. I know I
okay.
like seniors traveling solo. Lovers,
Mhm.
ooh, this is good. Lovers of wine and wildlife. I like that.
Ooh.
Golfers who love to travel. Distillery brewers and cider tours. Sign me up for that one. Golfers who want to golf around the world. And what's your dream trip? Oh, great ideas,
Mhm.
folks. Thank you.
Super. So I want to build upon those. So some of them are awesome, but they're also very generic. And what I mean by generic is somebody's probably already created it. So let's go to the golfers one. So whoever was the golfers one, I would use either my area where I live, right? My state, Florida golfers over 50 who love to travel. Golfers who maybe it's a type of golfer, and I know nothing about golf, but like I'm thinking like people who throw darts. You're either a steel or a plastic dart player. I don't know if maybe it's like the brand of what do you call them? Those clubs or the type of golf. You've got to narrow it down a little bit more than the generic. So for some of those generic ones, whittle it down. Give me either a location, something specific, a specific demographic that you can add in there. Retired golfers, retirees who looking for challenging golf courses or golf courses that are challenging, something like that. Be wary, not wary, but be careful. You want to make sure you've got the word travel or something about travel in there. Otherwise, they might be attempting or joining your group and it has nothing to do with what they're looking for. So if you'll notice, every single one of these titles in here talks about travel, okay, of some sort. So make sure you add travel in there so that you've got qualified people in your group.
So let me jump in here for a second, Jen, because I want to ask you if this is based on some of the things that we shared. There's someone that
Mhm.
posted one that I thought was really cool. Now it's you guys have posted so many. They're going in front of my face like a million miles an hour. Hold on. Hold on.
Good.
It was something about Wanderlust Widows, okay, which I thought was a really cool
Mm-hmm.
name. But I think Wanderlust
Mm-hmm.
Widows, so to make this right, if I'm writing correct and listening to what you're saying, Wanderlust Widows who cruise, or something like that would be a better way to add the cruise on the end of it or something,
Correct.
or river
So
cruise or
a lot of
whatever.
right, and a lot of people use wanderlust and wanderlust. And as much as I love that word, and I do, people don't Google that. So
Ah,
people don't
okay.
type in, I need to find the Wanderlust widows, right? They're not going to put that in Facebook. What is it what you're really trying to do? Is that you're going to promote solo travel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about, do you know that the type of travel that you like to curate, which might be, widows who have money, that are going on world cruises, that can afford, big 2 week long cruises, 3 week long cruises. Is it FIT? What is it? So if you can narrow that down, but make it specific so that it's typeable. Think of it that way. Is it typeable? Not
Okay.
searchable, because everything's searchable, but is it typeable? Is it something that somebody would type? And if it's not something that somebody would type, chances are nobody's going to type it. And
How about
therefore
this
it is now a waste. Mm-hmm.
Got another one for you. Okay. I keep throwing
Yeah.
in these in. Chicago. I think this was really good personally. Jerry, this was great.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago jazz loving cruisers.
Perfect.
There you
Perfect.
go.
And there you go, Jerry. Launch that baby. Chicago Jazz Loving Cruisers. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. I love it. That's perfect. It hits the who, the what, the where, and the why. Are you getting excited?
Well done, Jerry.
I'm getting it. Yeah. Good job, Jerry. Good job. All right. So now that you've come up with your name, and again, I don't want you to think that I'm not covering how do you create a page. I'm not wasting my time telling you something that Facebook's going to walk you step by step. Literally, it's the easiest thing ever. Name your group, the who, what, where, why. Here's the name of the group. Now, we were talking about Canva, and on your Facebook group, you're going to need a Facebook cover. And so I just did a quick screenshot of how Canva allows you to create whatever kind of design you're looking for. And you can tell them, I need to create a Facebook cover. It will give it the perfect dimensions. So use Canva to create your Facebook cover. They have a lot of stock images in there. If you go upgrade to the Pro, listen, guys, you can use Canva for your social media shareables. You can use Canva to help jazz up your email. I know at TPI, we do a lot of grab and go emails for our advisors, and I create every single banner in Canva. It's so super simple. Logos, Zoom virtual backgrounds. I mean, there's a ton of things that you can do in Canva. So that's a good resource for everybody. Then once you've done that, you're gonna wanna set up your rules. And again, Facebook will walk you through this. I'm also gonna give you another resource here in a couple of more slides, but the rules are very important. And part of that rules in the description is to clearly describe what this group is about and what somebody can get out of this group. That's in your description. And then you're gonna set up rules. And in many cases, you can also set up questions that you have to ask somebody before you allow them in. All these groups are private, but just because they're private doesn't mean they're not searchable, reachable. But they're what they're basically saying is as the admin, they're having to approve you coming in there because they don't want people coming in that aren't there for the right reasons, right? Just like you wouldn't if you had a big party in your neighborhood and somebody showed up and they did not belong in the neighborhood and they didn't look like they were going to be really nice to your guests, you're not going to let them in. So Facebook will also walk you step by step of how to create or delete rules for your Facebook group. And they have a lot of great standard template type things that you can add in there. So not to fear, you don't have to worry about coming up with every single one of them. They've got templates in there for you. All right, so that's how you're going to create. Now the next thing, and by all means, please type in any questions that you have. We'll take them live. And Joni, as you see questions that you think I need to talk about right now, just ask me, interrupt me. So
what's the website for Canva?
Canva is canva.com.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Canva. Just type in Canva, C-A-N-V-A. All right. Now you got to promote this sucker. Just like with your website, just because you launched it doesn't mean people are going to show up automatically. But it is not very hard to promote your new Facebook group. Here's some things that you can do. First off, on your personal Facebook page, invite your friends to your new group. Make sure you say to them, hey guys, I just created this really cool group. If anybody that you know that's that are friends with me on Facebook are interested in this particular group, come on over to my group and invite them. You should have a link on your website that talks about this group. You could even write a little blog if you have a website where you can add blogs. Write a little blog about how you're excited about launching and who, what, where, and why you did it, and put a link there on that. All of you should be taking advantage of email marketing and e-newsletters, and you can put that right there in your e-newsletter. Hey, make sure you join our effervescent group that we've got going, talking about golfing over here. Encourage your friends to share it with others. Encourage the people who belong to the group to go ahead and post it on their Facebook page. Hey, a good friend of mine, any golfers out there, a good friend of mine just put together a really great golf group for people who love to golf and travel, or travel and golf, or travel for golf, or whatever that is. Ask your friends to share it. Your friends want to see you be successful. And again, ask the members within the group to also contribute in promoting. One of the things that my good friend, Marsha Kirby from Montana, which by the way, her page is Travel by Marsha. She has a little over 4,000 people in her page. One of the things she said she did was that she looked for Facebook groups that sold ads on their page. So the one she used, she lives in Montana. So, that's big, wide open country out there, right? So they don't see each other a lot. So they do rely a lot on online type communication. So I think she told me what she did was she had reached out and she looked for all kinds of Montana Facebook pages, individual cities within those states, their Chamber of Commerce page or their supporting of entrepreneur page. And she looked for some that had the opportunity that she could pay $50 and she could place an ad, which is basically a post in the page that said, hey, anyone who's interested in travel, I offer travel tips and you get to talk to other travelers. Please go and visit, request access to my Travel by Marsha Facebook group. And so she said every time she did that, she got 10 to 15 people who would join her group, but that opened it up because those 10 to 15 people were so excited. They told people, and then they told two friends, and they told them. It's the whole German commercial all over again. Do you remember that? Am I dating myself? Do you remember the shampoo commercial? And
No.
they told two friends, and they told two friends. Oh my gosh, I wish I had. Okay, just that Germac. Is that what it's called? Germac? Okay, y'all correct me. I know somebody remembers. Remember, it was a good smelling shampoo. And the commercial, she's like, and I told two friends about it, and then they told two friends, and then it kept showing it on the. Okay, well, I'll be quiet because you don't know it. But anyways, once you do that,
Nobody's
people
saying
will
anything.
tell
I'm
people
sorry,
about it.
Jen.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
God,
found
because
it.
they're
Okay.
Googling it right
Herbal
now.
essence.
That's the new version of it, but it's back in the 80s, in the late 70s and 80s,
Okay, I'll let you know if it
before
pops in.
Essence. Oh my God. A free 30-minute consultation for anyone who figures it out and puts it in the chat. Not that I don't want you to be not paying attention to me, but it's Germac. I'm pretty sure it's Germac. I told two friends and they told two friends. That's marketing, people. They knew it back then. Same thing with this. So remember we talked about, so that's all these are ways for you to promote your page. Another way is group tags. And again, Facebook will walk you through step by step on how to add group tags, type of travel, your city, destination focus, hobby focus, very similar to what you went through to create the name. All right, so that's how you promote. Managing of your Facebook group. Now, at TPI, we have 5 very active private Facebook groups that our advisors get a chance to take advantage of. And we have like 8 admins on each of them because it does take a lot. You got to make sure that you've got some good rules set up and then that you abide by those rules. So here's some of the things that you can do. And there's a resource that I'm going to tell you about here in just a minute. And he actually has some good ways to use your admin. So assign admins. It can't always just be you. Ask a couple of friends. Maybe it's your associates. Have some other humans besides you that are kind of paying attention to the group. Remember, this group, the difference between a Facebook page and a group or a community is that the group members are the ones that put together a good amount of the content. It doesn't always have to be you. Once they get comfortable with this group of people, they're going to ask questions. Hey, what was your favorite golf course in Arizona, right? They're going to start asking each other questions, and you're going to be able to pipe in with some answers, but you need admins to kind of pay attention to it. Make sure you have really strong guidelines. Make sure you moderate, which means you have to go back to your page and be on your page often, and deal with conflict quickly. And this is a really tough one. Sometimes, and I know here at TPI, we have that challenge from time to time. It's tough to deal with conflict when you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But the way we look at it is if somebody starts to get snarky or negative, that's the page because it brings the whole thing down. Joni, have you ever seen that? You've been part of a page and you're like, who's this Yahoo over here?
Happens all the time. Yeah, it happens all the
Right.
time in the exercise Peloton group. And people can be so nasty. It's like, really, why are you even here?
Yeah, exactly. And again, I'll refer to my good friend Marsha. She said she only lets positive comments and posts be
Perfect.
posted. If it starts to get negative, she just deletes it without question and gets rid of the people too. Remember, this is your group. You
Exactly.
don't have to let anybody in. All right. So this is a really good, I only read one article of his, but it was so spot on. I really liked it. So it's ignitevisibility.com. I've never met him. I don't have any kind of commission share with this fella, but I really liked a couple of his articles that I had on here. I don't even know if he's still in business, but what is his page is up. So go to ignitevisibility.com and you'll see some good resources there. Oh my God, it's already 3:40. Can you
We
believe it?
have our
We're
webinar.
talking and
We have
talking.
our person that won for the shampoo. If you would like to know that, everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so
Who?
a lot of
What's the,
people, came in. I'm thinking we did have people do some Googling while we were in this
yep,
webinar.
that's okay.
But Jason, you were the first one that came up with the correct answer. I'm hoping this is correct. 80s Fabergé Organics.
Yeah, I thought it was saying average. I thought for sure it was Germac.
Some
But
people said
okay, we'll
Germac,
take
but a
it.
bunch of people think it's Fabergé Organics, and that seems to be coming through. So I don't know. And if it
I
is,
don't know
Jason
either.
wins that one. If we can figure this out,
All right. All right. You make sure you tell
I
me
got
that.
his
And the
name. We're
first one
good.
that, okay. All right. Good deal. All right, so now we have to interact on our page. And again, you don't have to be the only one that's posting, but I'm going to share with you 11 tips to encourage interaction within your Facebook group. Okay, now you can use this on your Facebook page as well, quite frankly, but these are specific to groups. And so here are the 11 tips. And by the way, everybody, we do get copies of everyone's email address. If you want a copy, well, you've got this. If you want a copy of this PowerPoint with all of this on here, we'll be sending a follow-up with this PowerPoint in there if you need it. So I know many of you are writing feverishly. Don't worry, it's right here. Okay, so 11 tips. Welcome new members. Probably once a week, unless you're getting hundreds of members at one time, but once a week, you should welcome new members in a batch. And it's just one post. Hey, super excited to see these new members who have just joined us, and you tag every single one of them. Outline a common problem and then ask members to comment with their solutions or advice for solving that problem. So y'all, what's a common problem that one of your travel Facebook groups or communities would probably have right now, right? Be thinking about it. What's a common problem? Type that in. What's a common problem that you think people have? And then ask members to comment with their solutions or advice. Can you think of a common problem travelers have right now, Joni?
Oh, think of they're not traveling. That's the problem. We want to travel.
Right, exactly. Right. The common problem is, what are you going to do this year now that your summer plans were canceled?
Exactly.
Your summer cruise was canceled. What are you guys going to do? Well, outline that problem. You be the one to outline it. Hey, here's the problem I'm hearing. Nobody can go to Europe right now, right? Like people are having a tough time booking cruises. How are you looking at your vacation plans this year? And let them answer it.
Exactly.
Use themes to encourage sharing. So like as an example, a theme could be self-care Sunday, right? So if that's your jam, self-care Sunday. And it could prompt members to share their own advice or upload images of what they're doing to take care of themselves on self-care Sunday. What does self-care Sunday look like to you? Okay. Instead of these stupid tests like your COVID name begins with the first letter of the month you were born in and what, like, don't do that. Do things that actually are positive, that allow them to kind of engage and show people their personalities, because everybody wants to show their own personality. Okay.
So I know we're getting close on time, but I wanted to share one quick one with you because I think you're going to like this. So this is a travel person, and she's a Facebook friend, but what she's been doing during this lockdown and not being able to do things to encourage travel was to come up with a Sunday cocktail of a various destinations. So like for, it was a Bahama Mama one. And then she actually did a Facebook Live where she showed herself making it. She had all the ingredients and people could come in and make it at the same time. So just a thought, just sharing something really smart. I thought that was brilliant.
It is. It's brilliant. And we are hearing super smart advisors all over the country that are getting used to Facebook Lives. And you'll see that right here in the list as well. People love video. They want it to be exciting video. They want it to be different. I think we're all past the Zoom happy hours. Now we're like, yeah, I'm done with that. What else you got for me, right? So you've always got to be ahead of the curve. Like, I'm over a Zoom happy hour. I'll call you on the phone because I don't feel like putting on lipstick for my Zoom happy hour, all right? So so that's good, though. I love that you're creating that from a destination. I think that's great. Share a story or experience. So ask, as you're getting to know your members, you're going to find people have certain things that they react well to. So if you had a good news story, something that happened in your city, or if you just a good story, like you had a good day, or an experience, like the first time you went on a cruise, or the fifth time you went on a cruise, or the most interesting person you met on a river cruise, share your story and ask others to do the same. Use polls, obviously use polls to survey the group and ask for feedback. And again, you can't make them really super generic because your answer should be specific. So it can't be, what's the first thing you're going to do when you're able to leave the house? Well, everybody's asked that already. All right. You got to go on to something new. Think about what your current clients are asking you about. This is probably where I also always encourage entrepreneurs within the travel industry to follow non-travel industry entrepreneurs. Find out what other people are talking about, right? Not just travelers. Find out what other people are talking about. Use polls. Spotlight a new member. As you get to know your new members, if they do something really cool, you know, have you ever done this? I know I've done this. I'm like in a group or something, and I'm answering one of my friends' questions, and one of her friends answers with something really funny or really insightful, or there's a beautiful, like, I paid attention to all the Memorial Day posts and I like downloaded my favorite. And I wanted to get to know those people because they're not my friends, they're a friend of one of my friends. And so I would click on their little name, I'd look at their profile, I'd see what they're doing. I would strategically stalk them with excellence, I'd like to say. But in some cases, I'd reach out and say, you know what, it seems like we have some things in common. There's no reason, we don't have to be friends, but like, I like this person. I can tell I like them. They said something funny. They said they posted something that resonated with me. I could tell we're like-minded people. You're going to see that within your group. And if you do, spotlight a new member, reach out to them and say, seems like you're doing some really cool stuff. I'd love for our other members to get to know you a little bit better. Can I spotlight you? Highlight a member's achievements is in line with that. Host Facebook Lives. Members to be experts. Ask members to nominate one another for like an award, like come up with an award. Enlist go-to experts from, if you notice in the golfing, we're going to go back to golfing. If you notice your, Arizona golfers who love to cruise or who love river cruising or whatever, if you noticed in that group that, you're noticing a theme. These are a lot of business owners, right? Oh, a lot of business owners. I wonder if I had like a tax guy on, would this be something that would be good and interesting to my group? And ask the tax guy to give some tips, right? It doesn't have to always be about travel. It's about creating a community that people feel like you care about them and that you get them. And therefore, you are going to be the very first call when it comes to booking travel. Which takes me to converting. And converting, you would think I have 12 slides on this. Can I just tell you that if you do these other things correct, the conversion happens automatically. It happens because you're talking travel, you're supposed to be an expert. Not one time do you ever have to say, hey, book travel with me. Maybe every so often just say, hey, and I just want to remind everybody, if you're looking for, a vacation in Spain, I just did some research on this. I can help you get to Spain. You can make it very specific. I would ask as a poll, tell me, those of you who want copies of cruise deals, sign up for my cruise deals email and I'll send them to you there. I wouldn't do a lot of promotion of yourself on this group or in this community in that way. Instead, convert by showing your expertise, by constantly talking about how you just booked that trip, you're researching this trip. Oh my goodness, thank those who are going on a trip that you just booked. One of the things that Marsha Kirby, my good friend Marsha, Travel by Marsha out of Montana, people, she gets Montanians on cruise ships. This woman's amazing. She said, keep it simple, stay positive. And if somebody says they're interested, private message them, get them on the phone, get their credit card and book the damn thing. She said, don't be so like you got to sell them. But that's how you convert. Conversion comes from people who you make it easy for them to understand what you do, how you do it, why you do it, and how you can help them do it. That's what conversion is. And you make it's a 1, 2, 3 step. If you're interested in booking a cruise for Christmas, I've got 15 itineraries I'm kind of excited about, private message me and I'll send you the details. And as soon as they say yes or they private message you, then you convert them. That's how you create a community that converts. Marsha shares with me that she's been doing this now for 4 years. She's got 4,000 people in her group. She no longer has to advertise her group. They just come because of word of mouth. She's so darn busy booking travel. Yes, right now, so darn busy booking travel, just like many of the advisors that we've talked to at TPI, at Travel Planners. They are booking travel left and right. Don't let anyone tell you people are not booking travel. What's happening is you are either sitting on the sidelines waiting for your clients to call you, or you are getting out there like a warrior and making it happen. And creating a Facebook group, a community, is a great way for you to give back to your community, to a community that you love, that you can serve, and they will automatically come to you because you've shown your value in a very real way. I am a lover of Delta Lines. Anyone who follows me knows that. I'm part of the Delta Diamond Medallion Frequent Flyer Facebook group. And because Delta has had to cut back on so many of their segments where they fly to or how many flights they offer, what we see on our Delta Diamond Medallion, these are people who fly Delta almost exclusively. They're like, I had to break down. I had to cheat on Delta and fly American. It's breaking my heart. Oh my God, I had to cheat on Delta. Delta's a company, yet they're using the words, I had to cheat on them because they didn't offer this and I missed them so much. That's loyalty, people. That's what conversion comes from. It comes from loyalty. And creating a Facebook community that's just the easiest, cheapest, fastest, most meaningful way for you to be able to reach new human beings, travelers who have been abandoned by travel agencies going out of business, travelers who've had their vacations stolen right from underneath them because of what's happened with COVID, travelers who relied on Booking.com, Expedia, all these OTAs that are desperate to find you. I don't know if you can tell I'm a little passionate about that, but I am.
Just a little.
So that's how you convert. I wanted to, first off, what questions do you guys have? And then I'm going to tell you about something cool we're doing.
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Jen. There's no way we're going to get to all these. I can go a little over if you want to, but I mean, you've got so many questions.
I don't mind. Go. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start with some of them, and some of them I'm going to kind of bunch together because they're somewhat similar. So when you talked about posting questions or things to get the people motivated within the group to have a conversation, right now with what's going on with our COVID-19 situation, do you suggest posting things as an example? Gosh, how do you get a refund for a cruise, or you know what I mean? Or what about FDAs?
Excellent
And
question.
It's the question. You know what I'm saying? Do we post negative type things, or do we not?
No.
Okay,
what
good.
you do is you drive people to your e-newsletter. So what I would do, it's an excellent question. I'm glad you guys are asking this. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I'm a bit of a different bird, but that's because I come from outside of the industry. And this is what I used to do for a living, is I worked with entrepreneurs right during the launch of the recession of 2008 is when I launched my small business consulting practice. The worst time for entrepreneurs to be in business, that's when I quit my high paying gig with the real estate industry and started this, because I know what I'm talking about. Do what I tell you to do. Stop COVID on social media.
Amen.
Don't use this. Do not use this. What you should do is talk about resources, talk about these things in your email newsletters, in your conversations with your current clients. When maybe Delta Airlines has come out with, here's how airlines are going to be flying and here's how they're going to stay safe. I hate that word safe because that's a word we really shouldn't use. Here's what they're doing to stay as clean as possible. Put that in your email newsletter, and then drive traffic from your group to your email newsletter. Because the idea is, once you've got an email newsletter, and I know at TPI, we give free email marketing to all of our advisors. It's called Monarch, and they can segment. Here's my clients, here are my prospects, here are people who have said they've opted in for cruise deals, here are people who said, yes, please send me any COVID updates. Those people have self-selected themselves, but don't ruin it for everybody else. There's enough COVID misinformation out there on social media already. Don't be part of it. So I would say no, not at all.
Okay.
Instead, I would flip. I'd flip that around. And if somebody asks that question, say, you know what? It's a great question. Let me help you. I'll private message you. Or, hey, that's a great question. I cover that in my weekly newsletter. Please sign up here.
Perfect. Okay, that was the answer I was hoping you were going to give, because to me it's just we don't be negative Nellies right now. It's tough enough out there, so let's have some positivity. So how about somebody says a Facebook room, which I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard of, is a cool tool to use. Are you any knowledge on that?
You know what? I just read up on that not too long ago about a Facebook room. I don't know enough about it. What I do know is, for the majority of the people that I think our travel advisors are focusing on, and this is just the majority, it doesn't mean it's everybody, a Facebook group is something they're just being introduced to, even though Facebook groups have been around for a long time. But if you notice that right before COVID started, Facebook had ads, or national TV ads that were all about the Facebook groups. And I see one every so often. And that's because Zuckerberg believes that's actually what Facebook was supposed to be. And it turned into something else. And now we've gone back and said groups are where people are going, because people want to be with like-minded individuals and very specific topics. And they use Facebook as the way to gain that information. Much like how podcasts were super hot 15 years ago, 12, 13 years ago. They're coming back, because podcasts that are very specific to a specific demographic, talking about very specific things, are more popular now because that's what we want. We are a society, we are still a one-to-one marketing society, which is a great book to read, which came out 25 years ago, and I read it back then, one-to-one marketing, and that's what we are. It's a human being interacting with another human being, even though that human being could be a business. Although I
Okay,
think I
so
answered
here's
that
another one
question in
for
a
you.
really long way. Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Could you compare a LinkedIn group to a Facebook group? Which one is better?
It depends on who you're trying to attract. I think LinkedIn groups are fantastic. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to follow, what do we call ourselves? Link up with me on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is fantastic, and I think we should be doing more business on LinkedIn. It's not better or worse. It's really on who your demographic is and who you're trying to attract.
Okay.
I think Facebook's probably nailed it a little easier. There's a lot of flexibility with what you can do, but either one's good.
Yeah, and I do think, I think what LinkedIn, when it all began, seemed more like a business focus,
Mm-hmm.
more of a how
Mm-hmm.
to connect with other like business professionals. And this is a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is a little bit more social. So when we're talking travel,
Yeah.
we're talking, a little bit more of a social type of a concept with your consumers. So I don't know. I think that makes some
Yeah.
sense to me.
It does. It does. But whoever asked that question, the same concepts that I talked about on this webinar are the exact same concepts for LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, that was easy then. That's perfect. So I do have a question. This is a good question too, I think. So if you have a Facebook group and it's all rolling along, what about all the other travel advisors that might want to get into your group? How do you not have that happen? Or do you let them come
That's a I think that's up to you. I asked Marsha Kirby the same question. She said one of her very first questions she asks are you a travel advisor? And if they say no, she lets them in, and then she checks them out, and she finds out they're a travel advisor. She kicks them right back out. Now,
in? Okay.
she did say that for her TPI counterparts, she lets them in for a little while so they can see what she's doing, and then she boosts them out.
Got it. Okay. Is there a limit to how many groups that you can have, and how many would you suggest, Jen?
However many, you can do an outstanding job promoting, interacting, and managing. No, there's not a limit to how many you can have.
Okay, but you got to be able to manage it. So obviously you have to
Yeah.
take it a piece at a time.
I mean, listen, they're children naturally. I don't know how they do, and they chose to do that. And there's others that can barely manage one.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, it also depends how many people are in it and how engaged they are, how much you can
sure.
get done in it in just one day, so it makes it a little bit tough.
I would start with one. Start with one. Nail that one, and then if you see that there's a need for another one because you've now gotten excited about something, then go to that one.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if there's anything else there's a zillion great suggestions. Someone had a suggestion. Let me scroll through here.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good. I don't know everything.
The suggestion, you can promote your niche Facebook group in an already established meetup group, he
Yep.
says. There you go.
Yep.
Good
Absolutely.
suggestion.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Frank.
All those networking that's out there. There are some, I'll see it every so often. I'll have friends that'll say, listen, just post the link to your website and what you do on here because I want all my friends to get to know all my friends. And so you've got opportunities everywhere.
Okay. Another question. When you link your group to your Facebook business page, does the engagement on the group page flow to the business page analytics? Good question. Tough question.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that question, but I don't believe so.
Okay. Let me see. Someone had another idea.
Yeah,
We
the
have
goal
been doing
is
Zoom meetings with cooking programs from Italy periodically with one of our visitors for the group members by invitation to keep them engaged. Good idea.
Right. Yeah, it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
Everybody wants a copy of this PowerPoint, Jen. This has got to
of
happen
course
tomorrow.
they
Okay.
do.
Okay.
No worries. As soon as you send me the emails, I'll send out an email by the end of today that'll have a link to the PowerPoint.
Okay, and I want to let everybody know, I did put a message in earlier, but I want everybody to know we do record. This webinar is recording, and so it will be on travelprofessionalnews.com. It'll be on our travel professional community if you're a member of our group, our community. It'll be in there, so it'll be like all over the place. So you'll be able to find it, no problem. You can certainly email me or Jen to find out, where you can find it. But look for it. It takes about a couple hours for us to get it published up. So
give it a second, people. The stuff's got to go to space and come back.
Exactly.
So I wanted to talk. Right, exactly. I just wanted to talk really quick we'll send an email to everybody, but we're pretty excited. It should launch next week, maybe by the end of this week, I'm not sure. But TPI is giving this free of charge to all travel advisors across the world. It's called the Fiercely Forward Formula, and it's a resource and content guide. It's a downloadable guide where we are providing, it will have a copy of this webinar in it. It'll have 2 other webinars in it. We have put together a Travel America resource guide on how to put together 3 different types of travel, how to pitch your local media with sample pitches that you could use right now, social media shareables that we've crafted and designed, sample email verbiage and banners for you, all different types of really cool stuff for you to be able to use. It's just something you can download. And then we are going to be launching our own Fiercely Forward Formula group, which you are welcome to be a participant in. And we'll send you details on that as well. But that's really it's a forum for travel advisors in America that are moving fiercely forward. And are looking for a community that's got really cool ideas, that wants to share, that are openly sharing their ideas, a place for us to post stuff as we come up with cool stuff. We want to share it with everybody, not just with our TPI advisors, even though they are the loves of our lives, but we're all in this together, and the only way you can be in it together is if you do it together. So I'm pretty excited about that, Jenny.
That's awesome. All right, folks, I'm having
we've got questions too.
I know, we've got so many, and I'm having a technological challenge over here in San Diego, California. So I'm going to ask everybody, we're going to do our final questions for the prize, if that's okay with you, Jen. But before we do it, everybody, my question pane has disappeared from my front of my screen here. So I'm not sure where it went, but I'm looking at your beautiful face instead, Jen. So folks, everyone see the chat over on the side? You see there's a little chat box. Okay, you should be able to chat in that. So when we ask this question, you can type it there, and then I will be able to count the 5th one. Unless you can see it. Can you, Jen, can you see the questions pane?
I can see questions. There's no questions in there, but is that this little thing?
There's a questions pane.
I see a chat.
Yeah, you see the chat. No, okay, so somebody in there, do me a favor. Hey, Jason, if you're still there, Jason Plank, do me a favor and type something to us in that chat box just to make sure it's working before we ask this question, all right? Oh, Jason. Oh, please.
Oh, Jason. Oh, well, that's, oh, gracious.
Oh, Jason.
Hopefully you can. I do see where somebody had asked a question. This was a while ago. Wow, this is in the chat though.
Yeah, that was me sending you that. Yeah, I don't know where it's like they're always like it's here, and then I don't see it, and I'm like, where is? Oh, let me try one thing here. Okay, it came back. Yoo-hoo! All right, guys, I'm sorry I get excited. You know, doesn't take much. All right.
All right, I'll ask the questions. Are you ready?
We're good. All right, thank you. You guys don't put it in the chat box. Put it in the question box. I'm going to pick the 5th person for each question, and that 5th correct answer is going to win this 30-minute consultation with the amazing Jen Lee.
We can talk about anything.
Yeah.
All right, so question number 1, type in your answer. What is the big difference between a Facebook business page and a group? That's the one thing I kept talking about. What's the difference between a page and a group?
And
Joni, you know the answer, right?
I do know the answer. Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I'm just making sure. I want to make sure the answer is exactly what you want it to be. So then we get to number 5. Okay. I'm going to say that our winner today is going to be Katie. And Katie Cianciello, you were the one that said it's about them. And that's the perfect answer, I think, right? Okay.
That's exactly it.
All right, I'm going to save her name, and we will give her that prize. And you want to go ahead and take the second one?
Yeah, and Katie, I've got, oh darn, I usually put my email address up here. Do me a favor, Katie, go ahead. If you're at your computer, and if you're not, it's fine. Send me an email at jennl@tpionline.com and say, I'm winner number 1. And you and I will connect and get that scheduled. All right,
also save it for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. The second question is, what's the name of the graphic design program, the website that Joni and I were just flipping out over how much we Love this
Oh
one
my God, they're coming
resource.
in fast. Lord. Okay, so
Good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be Ms. Jessica Cole. Jessica, you are the winner.
Woohoo! Yes,
Wow,
sir.
everybody got that one right, Jen. Woo!
I bet. And
My
again, I
God.
don't get paid by Canva or anything, but we are obsessed with them. They're awesome.
Yeah, I
Been
know
using them
some
for
people were
years.
asking about, I will ask you this last question before we close
Sure.
down today. Some people were saying, is there any chance that TPI members could get some sort of a discount on Canva? I don't know that that's possible, but I wanted to throw it out because I know that they were asking.
Yeah, no, not that I know of. I mean, I can certainly reach out to them, but I highly, no, it's not a relationship we've set up. We're
Yeah,
trying to just get certain suppliers to pay you your commissions
it's
right
pretty
now. So
cheap,
that's
I
kind of where
think.
my
It's
focus.
not very expensive,
Yeah,
I
you.
think.
Well, Canva's free. Canva Pro, I want to say, is $9 a month. It's so
Yeah,
worth it.
it's so worth it. Yeah, absolutely. It's so
It's so
worth it.
worth it.
Right, because you can use it for a lot
Me
of
too.
other applications too. So it's all
A
good.
thousand different things. It's all
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Oh my God, Jen, this is ridiculous. This was so awesome. You were so good.
Thank
You're
you. I
always so
love this.
good, but this was so good.
Thank you.
I have had a
Oh,
million
good.
compliments here about your presentation, a million people wanting to know. I
Mm,
mean, folks, we have had so many people on here today. There's hundreds of you here. I want to thank
yeah.
all of you for being here today. And you're all so positive and excited about this topic. I'm loving this. This just put me in a great space today. And I thank you, Jen, for all you do for us at Travel Professional News and as a friend. So thanks, everybody, so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. Go
Ha-
make it happen.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.